name's Bangura. I'm a freshman. I will be talking about the history of Sierra Leone, its tradition, and so now we're going to talk about the politics, which is really interesting because Sierra Leone gained its independence in the 1960s, so it's not that old, but it's a growing nation. Sierra Leone is a democratic government. They have a president, vice president, and a couple ministers, which was what my uncle told me because I interviewed him. They have different branches of government. They have a really weird system because they have a parliament, yet they also carry like the American three branches of government: an executive branch, legislative branch, and judiciary branch. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the tradition and culture, which is my favorite part and it's the biggest thing I like about this. This is like traditional clothing that they wear, but it's like a modernized version of that, and it's just stuff like this with like these tribal patterns on it. This is like a really long skirt, and people wear this for like maybe special occasions such as weddings or events that you're going to represent your country. And it's just like this. Then there is like a top. Adults wear headscarves because that's what they use to wrap their heads. It shows respect and it kind of represents dignity. Also, if you're married, it kind of shows your statue because younger kids, like teenagers like myself, we don't necessarily have to have our heads wrapped. Sierra Leone has 14 tribes. A lot of people tell me personally, and I've heard from a lot of friends as well, that Sierra Leone does not have a unique culture, that they don't have anything unique to them or anything that's really specific because Sierra Leone was a country created so slaves here can find refuge, and it was like a safe haven. So when slavery started to decline here, they were taken to Sierra Leone. So it's a nation that consists of many different countries, especially like African countries. So it's just like a collective group of people. However, each tribe, since there's 14, has its own specific religion. It has like its own indigenous beliefs. However, each tribe has its own food, its own history, and they have their own dialects. They speak 13 different languages other than their national language, which is English. Creole is the most popular. Now, so let's talk about food. Sierra Leone has, they eat pretty much everything. Just like I think every nation eats pretty much anything that's really edible. They don't have specific, but their staples are rice. It's a country that's really known for agricultural resources and for farmers. Their most popular tribe, which is the Timini, they're known for making rice. They make a lot of rice, and that's why it's their staple. Also, they eat cassava, which is something they grow as well, and they use that to make the food, which is a traditional meal. They kind of mash up the cassava. It's like boiled, and then it's mashed up, and then it's kind of powdered out as well. So they use that, and that's usually made on Saturdays. It's a special thing. Also, they have jollof rice, which is also popular in its neighboring country, Nigeria, but it's also a popular meal there, which is usually used in funerals. So now I'm going to elaborate more on my interview that I did with my uncle. Each tribe, he was telling me that he's part of the Limba tribe, and which is one of the smallest tribes in Sierra Leone. It's the third largest tribe. I think it consists of maybe 11% of the population. But they have other tribes, they're just not as big as this one. And he was telling me how they are known for the Bondo Society, which is a really kind of a hush-hush thing. A lot of people don't know about it if you're not part of this country or part of the tribe at all. Also, they have the Paro Society, which is for men. The Bondo Society is for women. and they practice genital mutilation, which is not the greatest thing, and they're trying to stop it right now. And the Porous Society is where you take a man and you basically try to teach them manhood, but it's deeper than that, and he wouldn't really tell me too much about it. All he's telling me that is like, it's specific to his tribe. So that was really an interesting concept, but to elaborate more on the Devoted Society, it's for women, and they say it's for women, it's to take girls in and basically teach them how to be like women in society, to practice motherhood, how to be good wives, how to become strong women in their community. However, the genital mutilation is a really big thing because the instruments that they use for it are really like old and rusty, and there's a lot of complications. Many girls die when they go into the society because that's where they take care of them. But because the instruments are not so good, there's a lot of controversy going on about that. Also, to elaborate on that, something else I learned when I was doing this interview was that they now have a new rule in the government, which is really stern, because they don't necessarily talk about that stuff, but they have a new rule saying that you must be 18 if you're female to be part of this society, yet it's not really being done, because if you're 18 years old, you don't really know about the medical instruments that are used on you, and these instruments are still rusty, so it's really wrong. In conclusion of my talk about Sierra Leone food tradition and the government, Sierra Leone is a rising nation. They just went through a civil war 10 years ago, and now they're rising up from that. Even though they have a lot of trials and tribulations still in their path, I strongly believe that they're going to make it out really strong, because they're an underdeveloped country, but they have a lot of support from other nations. Thank you.